Mhm.
I mean,
It's a
just
constant-
asking us to look at the bigger picture. So,
Well, I think the streamlining or whatever, and I think we'll get off topic here, so I'll end this is, I think there should be some clarity from the boards, or maybe there should be something, or a handbook or whatever that's given to people when they purchase, or when they're looking into actually starting a business or building or whatever it is, and that might be where it needs clarification. I don't think it's the fee schedule itself, which we're talking about
Okay.
tonight. The fee schedule, I think, is here. I mean, I don't find it, there's a price of doing business that we all
absolutely.
pay.
And individually, none of these fees are exorbitant. But it can look like it's a whole, we're nickel and diming everybody. So, I just like to do something to make that communication a little easier to understand.
Okay, so
So
we'll table.
we've agreed to table this?
Yeah. So I'll make an official motion to table the fee schedule, a little further research, and go from there.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, where are we?
Number 14.
14, official newspapers, currently PCNR. I think it's the only game in town that qualifies, so I will make a motion to reappoint, or I don't know if appoint's the right word, to have the PCNR as our official newspaper.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Doug. Welcome back.
Touch and go there for a
It
minute.
was touch and go, the edge of the seat. Appointment of village council is currently John Fursta, Catania, Mohan, Milligram, and Ryder. Should know that by now, I see it enough. I'll make a motion to continue with our council. I'm very happy with them.
That isn't what you say behind his back.
I know, well, he
He's
knows
closing
that.
the town.
He assumes that.
I've dealt with enough politicians, I know.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
I think, is that it for the
Nope,
agenda?
a resolution
one more
for attendance
resolution.
at school.
Where is that? Never mind.
16.
Thank you. Many people, many hands. Resolution 29-218, authorizing attendance at schools and conferences. You have a resolution here.
Yes.
I don't know.
It's the last page of the packet.
Attend the schools, whereas there is to be held during the coming official year, NICOM's annual meeting and training school, NICOM fall training and PACE land use training, whereas attendance by certain municipal office officials and employees at one or more of these meetings, conferences, or school benefits the municipality. Now therefore be it resolved, Section 1, that the following officers and employees are authorized, subject to availability of funds, to attend the aforementioned school. Mayor and Board of Trustees, clerk, accountant, clerk to justice, planning and zoning, and historic district review board members. Section 2, that this resolution is effective immediately. I'll make a motion to approve, resolution 29-218, attendance at schools and conferences.
Second?
Trustee Miller,
Aye.
Trustee Early,
Yes.
Trustee Murphy,
Yes.
Trustee Veloto,
Yes.
Mayor Morandi.
Aye. I was just thinking, which is after the fact, if highway or if any of those, can they attend?
I don't know that they have any sessions that would be of
I
interest
know like
or
sometimes they have, well, not through NICOM, but sometimes they have like, I know that the, Phillipstown goes.
Association of Towns does have highway
Yeah.
credits or courses at their annual
Or
meeting
Yale.
in February. I've never been to the NICOM meeting, but I go to the Association of Town meetings, I know they have a lot of highway stuff there.
Yeah. And Cornell, I think, offers some.
Yeah, Carl goes to one or two of the year ago.
Well, we could do that. But maybe next year we should include highway.
Do you want to amend this one?
What's that?
Do you want to amend this to add the new one? Do you want to amend the resolution before we, or is it too late?
We have to, I think we're fine.
Okay.
If something comes up, we'll work with it within the next one. Fine, that's it for, do we have any public comment? We're gonna be going into closed session for, counsel from our attorney, after this meeting, or in a short while, so if there's anything from the public. If not, I'll make a motion. We won't be discussing anything once we come out of, this session. We'll be adjourning, so.
Right, so you're not reopening the
We're
public
not
hearing,
reopening,
okay, so,
yes.
okay, good.
So, I'll make a motion to, go into, session with, for attorney, counsel.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Don't forget the tree lighting Saturday night, 6 o'clock.
You guys have, had the financials, there have been no changes to the numbers since you've received them.
Thank you. I gotta jump, we're gonna just go that way.
All right, thank you.
Oh, okay.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
Press. Press, okay.
We don't wanna give him the real numbers.
I was bad at math, so you don't have to worry.
We on, Mike?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Could you stand next to the clock, because then I can get everybody in the shot? Thank
So-
you.
Welcome, everyone. Starting off the meeting tonight, we have a presentation from our audit group, EFPR, John Costello. Will be doing a presentation. This is for findings for 2017, 2018 audit. And the floor is yours. And if,
Oh, sorry, go on.
so if you'd like to highlight, or if you highlight, the report or things of note, or
Okay.
in general.
As you had mentioned, I'm John Costello with the FPR Group, the external independent financial auditors for the village. So this is a quick presentation. You've already received the draft copies of the financial statements and a report to the board, which is required communications. If there's any questions, please feel free to ask questions after the presentation. Professional standards require us to communicate with you matters related to the audits that are in our professional judgment, significant and relevant to your responsibilities overseeing the financial reporting process. On April 12, 2018, we communicated our audit plan, documenting our plan for the audit of the Village of the Cold Spring for the year ended May 31st, 2018. And our objectives, nature and scope and timing of the planned audit. This is just to go over the results of the audit. We have completed the audit of the financial statements as of May 31st, 2018. Our audits were conducted in accordance with auditing standards generally accepted in the United States of America and standards applicable to financial audits contained in government auditing standards. The objective of our audit was to obtain reasonable, not absolute, assurance about whether the financial statements are free from material misstatements. The scope of our work was performed substantially about the same as described to you earlier in audit planning communications. We will be issuing an unmodified or clean opinion on financial statements and the internal control for financial reporting. All information and records requested by EFPR were freely available for our inspection. Management's cooperation was excellent. Anything we asked for was received in a timely manner without issue. Currently our open items, approval by the board, and just general subsequent procedures, which is, we've pretty much covered at this point. Results of our audits. All your significant accounting policies are included in note 1 of the financial statements. These practices and policies were appropriate, applied with generally accepted accounting principles, industry practice. During the year ended, the village adopted provisions of GASB statement numbers 73 and 75, which required a restatement of net position downwards by about 2.1 million. Over here. It was about $2.1 million to comply with the new requirements, which is described in note 6. Yeah, 2.1.
Non-cash.
Yes, 2.175. GASB is requiring people to, this was the effect of OPEB, which we talked about last year, essentially, rather than amortizing the cost over the 30 years and for the liability, they decided, because they're requiring the pension plans to put the full liability on the books, your post-employment benefits liability should be fully on the books rather than spread out, so everybody, all governments are in this situation. It's a non-cash item, which you pay as you go. There's significant estimates. Generally, we're at about useful lives of capital assets, the accounting for pensions, ERS, PRF, LoSAP, which were done by third parties, New York State or Penflex, compensated absences, and OPEB. Except for the new adoptions, management did not make any significant changes to the processes or assumptions since the prior year. The methods to account for transactions were considered appropriate. And we list some of the financial statement disclosures that are more sensitive to the users because of their significance of the financial statements. You know, your long-term liabilities, your descriptions of the pension plans, the LoSAP, or volunteer firefighter length of service award program, your other post-employment benefits, and any commitments or contingencies. Happy to report there were no material corrected misstatements or to the accounts or disclosures that we needed to bring to the attention of Michelle. So overall, the numbers she presented to you before our arrival are fairly consistent to what we have in the financial statements. Any uncorrected are trivial and would not make the financial statements misstated. Internal control over financial reporting. We look at internal control for a basis of designing our audit procedures for the purpose of expressing our opinion on the financial statements, but not for the purpose of expressing an opinion on the effectiveness of the internal control. Accordingly, we do not express an opinion. We perform tests of compliance with laws, provisions, contracts, and agreements to make sure the financial statements are free from material misstatement. However, providing an opinion on compliance was not an objective of our audit, and accordingly we express no opinion on that either. However, the results of our tests did not disclose any instances of non-compliance or other matters that are required to be reported. Again, our conservative internal control was for limited purposes, not designed to identify all deficiencies in internal control. We are required to communicate in writing all material weaknesses and significant deficiencies that have been identified. Then we go on to give descriptions of what deficiencies are, But again, there was no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies that were required to be reported. Other communications, there was no significant changes to our audit plan that we encountered during the audit. There was no other information that came to our attention that we felt should be disclosed to, that we came across that should be brought to the board's attention. We're not aware of consultation with other accountants or opinion shopping. There was no disagreements with management, no difficulties encountered during the audit. Again, no other matters that we felt rose to the need to bring to the board's attention. We requested a management representation letter, which says the information provided is accurate and correct to the best of their knowledge, which we have received from Jeff. Then the new, we try to bring attention to items that might affect your financial statements coming in the future. Coming up effective for the years, should have been May 31st, 2021. There's new GASB 87, which is leases. Operating leases will now have to be on the books as an asset and a liability versus just making payments on them even though it is not your asset. Again, they're trying to get everything under the sun on your financial statements that they possibly can, and this is the new one. Then the last page, as described in our engagement letter, we are independent of the village, and is there any questions regarding the numbers or the financial statements themselves? Yeah, okay.
Let's see. Page 22, the last paragraph on page.
One moment. Okay,
In accordance with blah, 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 blah. The village changed its practice for paid health insurance for retirees effective 2017. They no longer waive accumulated sick days. For those that were hired prior to September 30th, 2016, they have to do that. But for anyone hired post-2016, they are not required to waive sick days. They instead have to spend so many years in the employment of the village and have to be at a certain age to qualify for retirement health insurance. So the last two sentences there will have to be modified.
okay, that won't be,
Yeah, this would be okay if we put for people hired before September. It's consistent with other changes throughout
okay.
this financial statement stuff. The retirement benefits are listed somewhere else as well.
Yeah,
I think it changed.
yeah, I think, we changed that section, okay, we must have missed this one. Okay, we will correct that, and,
Page 28,
okay,
under leases, 3, capital lease.
yep,
Maureen, one second, can you go back? Why would that matter if this is under compensated absences anyway? 22 is compensated absences, why are you talking about retirement? Is that to quantify, how, because compensated absences, we don't take into account the 180 days for those people. May not even remember.
okay, we'll have to look at what's written, because it's saying some of that might not be applicable if they waive it for the health insurance. Okay.
Okay, sorry, we're back to leases.
On page 28,
Yep, leases at the bottom of the page.
Yep.
The first capital lease, the wording here implies that
yeah, we corrected
Right.
that. Jeff sent over, we will probably be, a couple of
just
typos, yeah.
wordsmithing.
Yeah, that, when the first draft went through, there was another line in there that I deleted because the person who was drafting them
Okay,
had picked up the wrong line and said, it's already paid, and I said, well, that doesn't make sense, and
No,
I missed that little spot.
we're still paying on it. You move to the next page under leases, liabilities continued, leases continued. The village entered into a 4-year financing lease for color cops with a value of $5,023. The remaining, and then if I look at the table,
Yes.
the years ending 19, 20, 21, and 22, the principal is $32,539 with only $949 of interest. I'm guessing that this is lease for something else, not for the copier?
Yeah, again, that was brought to my attention, this morning. We made that change. The new wording is remaining minimum required lease payments for all leases. is as follows.
Okay, that now makes sense.
Yeah, because it's shifted on the pages,
Yeah.
you're getting the implication it's only for that
That,
one.
that
Yeah.
makes sense, and
But
it's, and it looks
In your
fair.
mailbox,
Uh-huh.
I printed off early today is the corrected versions that John sent over early
Oh,
today.
okay, that's great, actually, but that's what those numbers reflect, the total
Yes,
rate.
yes, they're the total lease payments for
Very
all
good.
leases, not just.
Very
the-
good.
That, yes, that does not make sense, worded that way.
The next comment is on page 36, and Michelle tells me that this is actually an accounting practice. My comment is under actuarial assumptions, mortality rates for the fire company is based upon male mortality table. And we have in our fire company both male and female, but according to Michelle, it's standard practice to just use the male mortality.
Yes.
Or did I misunderstand?
No, this was,
I don't know.
these assumptions are done by your third-party provider, Penflex.
Okay,
This is straight out of their report.
Gotcha.
We can't say anything but what they report to us
Gotcha.
on that.
okay,
I did look at, after it was brought to my attention, I did go back and I looked in the thing and it just has the male mortality. So we lift that right out of their report for the numbers.
I can follow up with Penflex to make sure for the next report. They might very well use both, and they could have had a typo in their report as well.
Or there might not be a significant variance between the two that,
and I think that may be it.
and I think there is something,
Okay.
the was missing on page 42, which we added in.
I didn't catch that.
Oh, somebody else might have been.
Wasn't me?
What I think is, if you don't mind, I'm going to digress for a moment.
Sure.
There were no material or significant deficiencies
Material weaknesses or significant deficiencies.
found in numbers or practices or processes,
Correct.
which I think is an amazing compliment to our accountant. So nicely done, Michelle. With those changes, I for one would recommend that the village board,
Everyone,
So-
anyone else have comments? So you want to,
so I would, well, is there a resolution on here,
No,
Chuck?
there's not.
see one?
No, okay, so I would make you had said that there was a need for the village to, at the beginning, sorry, it was in here.
Yeah, we just have to approve it.
We have to approve it. I make a motion to approve the, basic financial statement supplementary information and independent auditors report from EFPL Group dated May 31st, 2018.
I'll second that. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you so
John,
much,
thank you.
John.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And you have my business cards if you need to get in touch with me. They also have my email and phone number.
They've got all your numbers, I'm sure.
Joe, do you have one more copy of the report?
Oh, of this? Yeah. So you're gonna send me changes for the compensated absences? We'll take a look at that.
Does the board have any questions for me?
When you coming back? No, I didn't say that.
First week of
Thank
January.
Thanks for coming in, Michelle.
I'd like to follow up on Maria's feedback on that, thank you. I'm always confident, which is, it's good to have someone that you're very
Hope
confident in.
so. I try very hard.
Thank you very much.
It's obvious.
And
Yes.
Thank you.
just one question on, just kind of related, is the fund balance that we
Yes.
have, what is that now, or it's been
As
increased
of
by
May, as of May
200?
31st, it's
Oh, fine.
792 in the general
And
fund.
that was increased by 200,000 from last year?
General fund? Yeah, it went up, 221,000.
221,
Yeah, last year it only went up 14,000 because you had the Main Street project going on.
Okay.
So this year, you know, that wasn't going on, so you didn't have all the other expenses, so you did fairly well.
Okay. And that's not earmarked for anything, this fund balance. We don't have anything that we are going to be tapping that for right now. Or have we discussed that yet?
the firehouse roof,
Firehouse roof.
Oh, that's coming out, that hasn't come out yet. Okay,
correct.
okay.
Michelle, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see, John is here, but I guess we'll go ripping, see if we can work through some of this. Okay, next is, the never-ending highway drama. Jake Vaccaro, who is the writing, doing quite well with his penmanship. Jake, as you know, or probably know, is resigning from the highway department. He'll be leaving next Wednesday, taking on another job. Unfortunately, not too happy about that. I'm sure Bugsy isn't either. He's the only other person with a CDL. He's the person that I kind of went back for and gave additional relish to at his request. Anyway, he's leaving us, so I'll make a motion to accept the resignation of Jake Vaccaro, effective 12/12/2018.
I'll second that.
All in favor? And following that up, approve advertising for a labor position. I'll make a motion to approve advertising for that position.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Approval of bills.
I move to approve batch number 4901 for a total of $181,390.49.
I will second that. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I'll try to group some of these together, others I won't be able to.
Excuse me, David. You said, 181,890, the agenda says
180,
it's 3, my bad.
181,390.49.
Okay, we're going into our reorg meeting. First is resident appointments. Water and wastewater superintendent is currently Greg Phillips. I'll make a motion to reappoint Greg Phillips as the water wastewater superintendent.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Non-resident appointments, acting justice for a one-year term, currently is Camille Linson. I contacted Camille, she said she'd be more than happy to continue on, so I'll make a motion to reappoint Camille Linson as an acting justice for a one-year term.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The next is mayor and board offices and appointments. I'd like to group these together if we can. If anyone wants to pull anything, speak up now. If not, I will go through them quickly. Budget officer is currently myself. Board of Water Commission is currently Village Board of Trustees. Deputy Mayor currently is Trustee Early. Members of the Audit Committee currently are Trustee Early, Trustee Miller, and Trustee Murphy, and then alternate. Insurance Risk Management Committee is currently Trustee Murphy and Trustee Veloto. Representative to the town of Phillipstown is currently myself. Representative to the fire company is currently Steve Veloto. Representative to Cold Spring Boat Club is currently myself and Trustee Murphy. Representative for the Cold Spring Police is currently myself and Trustee Early. And representative to Putnam County is currently Trustee Miller. Was everyone fine with these appointments and being reappointed?
Yes.
So I will make a motion to reappoint all of the aforementioned current members of our boards and committees. Is that a second?
Yes, that was a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, and thank you all. Appointment for standing boards and commissioners. Rec Commission for a one-year term is currently Roseanne Barr. Roseanne Barr. Planning Board Chair is currently, so I'll make a motion to accept, or to reappoint Ruth Ann Barr for a one-year term for Rec Commission.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I talked to Matt Francisco, he's fine with this, so I'll make a motion to reappoint Matt Francisco for a one-year term as Chair of the Planning Board.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next one I'd like to table, Matt was gonna talk to Rose, or Judith, sorry, I was mixing both names. Judith, so table that for now. Historic District Review Board, Chair for one-year term is currently Al Zaglinski. I did not talk to Al, but, so I'll table that also. HDR member, term 5 years, did talk to Carolyn Bashan, and she would be happy to stay on, so I'll make a motion to reappoint Carolyn Bashan for a 5-year term for the HDRB.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Zoning Board of Appeals, currently is Aaron Wolf. He just kind of signed in, so I'm gonna make a motion to reappoint Aaron as the chair for the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Tree Advisory Board, I talked to Jen, she's fine. She also talked to Tony, and Tony would be glad to stay on, so I'd like to make a motion to reappoint Jen Zwark as the chair for a one-year term, and for Tony Bardis for a 3-year term for the Tree Advisory Board.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Appointments to committees, Code Update Committee. Is everyone good on this?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to reappoint Nora Hart, Paul Henderson, Karen Doyle, is Karen still with you? Yes. Anna Pellizzeri, and Michael Reisman.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meetings, date monthly meetings on the second Tuesday at 7:30 PM, other meetings on the first and fourth Tuesdays. I'll make a motion to stay with those dates and times.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Agenda per trustee handbook. I'll make a motion to stay with the agendas per the trustee handbook.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
General procedures for calling special meetings and guidelines for public comment per the trustee handbook. I'll make a motion to continue with that practice.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Banking, resolution 28-2018, designation of depositories. So
I make a motion to authorize Mayor Morandi to sign resolution 28-2018, designation of depositories.
I'll second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm sorry, it's
Roll
roll
call.
call.
Oh, roll call.
Trustee Miller,
Aye.
trustee Early,
Yes.
trustee Murphy,
Yes.
trustee Bellotto,
Yes.
Mayor Morandi.
Aye. Authorized signatures, currently myself, trustee Early, trustee Murphy, and our clerk Jeff Vidakovich. I will make a motion to continue with same peoples, same signatures.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Policies, I'll group these together. I'll make a motion to reappoint or continue with the following members: Equal Employment Officer, myself; ADA Compliant Officer, Trustee Early; Workplace Violence Officer, myself; Sexual Harassment Prevention Officer, myself; Ethics Policy per Village Code; and Procurement and Investment Policies per Trustee Handbook.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Fee schedules, building and miscellaneous, you have those in front of you. I think we'll be talking to our attorney in a little bit about that, but, for now, make a motion to continue with the fee schedule as listed,
I'll second
or,
I think there's a problem that John and I discussed briefly tonight with the fee schedule for applications for building permits
Correct.
in terms of its conflict with the village code.
Mm-hmm.
When this occurred, we don't know, but it was prior to 2015 that the fee schedule and the village code are in conflict with one another.
and this is just for,
Building permits for new construction and interior construction, as well as demolition. All, permit fee for new construction, permit fee for interior construction, and permit for demolition. These are all, and permit fees for decks, for site work, and for solar panels.
so suggestions, we should pull those and can we pull those and,
Um,
Well, can you table the fee schedule
Sure.
for the next meeting, or do you have to adopt something, and table these specific items that were highlighted?
I don't think we have to, do we have to?
If
Or do
we-
you wanna, or do you wanna talk about it now, or do we talk about it later, it's up to you.
Oh, we can talk about it now,
Okay.
we might as well.
Yeah, alright. Hey, everybody.
How's it going, John?
Good.
We
So
thought, everyone thought you were just somebody in the audience.
So I took a quick look, and, yeah, there's some inconsistencies, so how the building inspector calculates the fees has to match what's in the code, and you can't change what's in the code by resolution. So, the code says the building fees are based upon the,
Construction
cost of
value.
construction.
Right.
Your fee schedule says it's based upon the square footage. You know, it's one thing if, well, and the other thing is the fees itself. I mean, technically, to change the fees that are in the code, you'd have to do that by local law too. You could probably get away with a resolution. It's
Is
been
this in
done-
general, or no? Or we're just specifically talking about?
In general,
building,
in
yeah.
general. So your biggest issue is the fact that how you calculate those fees. That has to be
Calculation
consistent.
is different.
Right.
Then the next issue is you have specific numbers in the code.
Right.
You could, I've seen other municipalities change those numbers based upon resolutions that they pass every year, just like what we're about to do. The best way to do it is to just change the code and just have a general reference. Instead of having a specific number, just have a general reference, basically saying to be set by the village board from time to time by resolution.
And that is in fact in the code, I think it's,
Yes,
40,
so
40.
I would just get rid of the specific numbers. Probably could get rid of, well, I think you have to probably explain how the building inspector's gonna calculate it. But, yeah, I would just stick with that one paragraph you have, that just kind of defers later. Because once you put numbers in the code, you can't really deviate from those specific numbers until you do a local law. And that's just, you don't want to be doing that every single year. So I don't know if there's other sections in your code, I didn't get a chance to look through it yet.
I've scanned through many, but not necessarily all, and I don't find that kind of a difference in any other section. I'll go through and do a more thorough evaluation tomorrow.
Now, are there other sections that have specific fee numbers, like a zoning board application costs X amount?
No, not that I've found.
Okay, all right.
It seems to be, other than in the statement of the bond
Mhm.
necessary for water, street openings for water, and the
Okay,
bond necessary for street openings for sewer.
that has a specific amount.
Yeah, it's $20,000, bond or cash.
Mhm.
But I can't find, but, I mean, this just came up today, so
Right.
I haven't done an exhaustive search. can
Right,
do
I mean,
that.
for the bond, you could also, I mean, that could be amended to just basically refer to be determined by the village engineer, you know, subject to village board approval by resolution, you know. So
So,
that way you have flexibility with that, because anything over 20, if you have something where the bond should really be over 20,000, you're kinda capped at 20.
Well, we may want to do that then.
Mhm.
Do we need to do a public hearing?
Yeah, so if it's in the code, anytime you change the code, it's a change, you're changing the local law, so yes, you need a public hearing, it's gotta be on the desk, so many days and, all that. Although
So
the
we have
jazz-
to change so the first step would be change the public, or go to the public hearing and change just the wording so that it refers to, that we're able to change the fee, it's at our
Yes,
discretion.
yeah, but basically, you have the paragraph there.
Right.
Yes, the
It's
paragraph
there,
is
so
there.
I think it's just really
Right,
Xing
yeah.
out
Taking out the
the
dollars.
Okay.
top one.
Right, taking out the dollars and the calculation
Yes.
method.
But then would you then have a fee schedule that is prepared that we would agree on every year, or no?
Yeah, I mean, some of the Village of Cornwall Hudson, who we represent, they adopt a fee schedule every single year.
Yes.
Okay.
But not everybody gets around to doing it. I think most of the municipalities we represent do adopt one every year because we strongly recommend that.
Right, okay.
Yeah,
So-
we've included it in the reorg
Right.
meeting every year.
So
Yeah.
we can defer, do you recommend we defer adoption of the fee schedule in total at this point and wait until after the public hearing? Or adopt the fee schedule minus the ones that are in conflict?
Well, yeah, they have to be consistent with the code, so you couldn't adopt them as is, so you
No,
can.
no, so do we just delete the?
Yeah, I would adopt everything else except for the ones you guys
Okay.
highlighted, which are in
Okay.
conflict with the code. And then you have to talk to the building inspector, what's the best way, what way should we be calculating these fees? Should we be cost of construction or by square footage? And figure out, what he recommends.
Well, you can get around a lot with construction costs, because there's nearly no way to prove what they're spending or not spending,
Right.
as opposed to square footage, which is square footage.
I think at one point the village did do it based on construction costs and,
Everybody says it's $99,
yeah, and then, I know it was in
For
two
my
thousand
addition.
fifteen,
so.
this was adopted, so I don't know if,
So basically,
Right,
we
so
have-
they
This was
basically,
implemented.
the policy change was made within the building department, but the code was never updated to reflect your policy change.
so we
Because the
have-
code still says cost of construction.
Yeah, they
Now,
get you
what I'd
figured out.
also like to do, although not in the document that you see that says code enforcement and related boards, I'd like to change this to be the Village of Cold Spring fee schedule. It's not only code enforcement and related boards. It applies to a number of different,
combine the two documents.
pardon me? No, just the first document. I'd like to change the heading of that, and then I'd like to
Combine the two.
include the miscellaneous fees
So combine
into that document.
Basically, what we need to do is go through the entire code, and any place where there's fees, we need to pull it out. So if we're gonna have a public hearing, we're going to be talking about
You
a number
should,
of sections.
exactly, you should go through the code, anytime you see a specific number, it really should be adjusted in code to give yourselves more flexibility.
I can get that done within the next week.
Mhm.
Okay, so we'll table the whole shebang.
Can I just mention something? As I was
Now you asked. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Now, I was looking at this fee schedule today, and, I'm kind of thinking about, like, small business people who want to, take over a business on Main Street.
Mhm.
And, I was looking at our fee schedule and what it would actually take for somebody to open a shop like our shop,
Mhm.
like we opened 10 years ago.
Mhm.
We didn't pay anywhere near this amount of money.
What's the amount of money?
What I'm looking at for this schedule is the application for the building permit is $150.
Unless you're doing some construction, we wouldn't get into that.
Well, there certainly was some interior construction,
What, to open a business, what you need is an operating permit, $100.
Okay, but then you have to do signage, a certificate of occupancy. You
I-
also
I
have to
don't
do,
I don't know that you have to do a certificate of occupancy.
Certificate of occupancy with our building permits. You get the CO, the cost of the CO is included with the permit, providing you get the final inspection before the building permit expires.
okay,
So there is no additional cost providing you do it within the time frame
all right.
that the permit's valued.
Is there a way that we can make this clear to somebody? Because if I was just looking at, like, if I was a new person coming here wanting to renovate Cappuccino and do a business in there now, it would look, you know, I added this all up with change of use applications, having to go before the
I'm not
HDRB
sure-
and all this other
I'm
stuff.
sorry,
It looks like,
I'm sorry, it's
Wait,
not
if she could let her
the-
continue.
can I finish,
Sorry,
please?
yes, of course, sorry.
It, the way it reads right now, it looks to a new person coming from outside that they would have to lay down over $2,200 just in fees to open up their business. That's what this looks like. So I'm suggesting that we kind of clarify what it would actually take under a number of different scenarios, what it would cost under a number of different scenarios. Because to me, this is not clear.
But if you, I don't think they would necessarily go to a fee schedule to see what they were, I think they would have to, I think they would go to whoever, they'd go to the building inspector, whatever, if you're opening it up to see what would be entailed, and what you would then go to the fee schedule for, or they would tell you, I would think.
Okay, so the building inspector would be charged with
Or Jeff.
clarifying,
It's-
making a clear
Clerk.
statement to,
I
as
would
to.
think that,
Those
Pretty much
questions,
starts with Jeff.
yeah, those questions come to me on a daily basis.
And he'll give you what you
Okay.
need and outline what you need. yeah.
Okay,
So-
so, all right then.
You know, if I could add a couple of my 2 cents, I mean, I'm just looking at your ZBA, your planning board, and your HDRB fees. They're very low compared to other municipalities we represent. The other thing is you may wanna just put a reference, I know we don't always collect escrow, but you may just wanna put it in there, escrow to, TBD, to be determined on a case-by-case basis, just so when somebody is looking at it and they realize they have to go to the planning board, they should understand, because a lot of people don't understand that they're responsible for the,
Right.
attorneys
Yeah.
or engineers' costs to the village, so I would, I think some applications, there's small applications, I'm not involved with, or an engineer's not involved with, so I would just maybe just put like to be determined on a case-by-case basis kind of thing, so that way people are aware if somebody is really, looking at this.
So if we're to table this tonight, does that mean that, because I guess we do this every year, so does that mean that we have no fee schedule?
No, it carries over.
It carries over, okay,
Yeah.
so we don't have to do anything to have it carry over.
were you gonna say something, Mary? Sorry.
No, I'm good.
Sorry.
One other thing, it'd be nice to clarify, I'm just thinking about my own experience. We went before the HDRB and had to pay $75 for them to consider our desire to put an awning in front of our store, which was denied. So what happens to that $75? We just lose it?
Right, the application is being processed, unfortunately, it's still a cost of processing it. And it's the
Right.
same thing, people don't understand that for escrows. You could submit an application and it can get denied, but you're still responsible for the escrow fees because
Gotcha.
the village needs to be recouped, it shouldn't be taxpayer money. It is unfortunate, but it happens.
Okay. I don't know. Just seems like $75 for a whole lot of work on my end and 5 minutes on their end.
Right.
Seems a little exorbitant. Because they didn't even look at, I submitted all these plans, they didn't even look at it until I was sitting before them. So maybe that's just something on their end that they should clean up, but.
Well, I think there's also a lot of back office, as far as processing the application, there's probably a lot of stuff that Jeff's doing, even before you get before the board, so to speak. Believe me, it's every municipality,
Risk.
everybody always complains, and it's true, but it's just the way municipalities, they're so strapped these days, they have to,
No, I understand.
you know both sides.
I'm looking at it from both sides here, and I just want us to consider the fact that we're not a village full of deep-pocketed chain stores and
Right,
strip malls. Our business sector is a bunch of independent
mom and pops, yes.
mom and pop shops.
Mhm.
And it can look like a disincentive that we don't want new businesses here.
Mhm.
We don't, as a disincentive to, sole proprietors and mom and pop shops. So if we have an ordinance that says we can't have chain stores and strip malls, but we put all these things in place to make it hard for the independent business owner, what do we do?